Yep, there he is. Hey, Steve, how you doing?
Hey guys.
All
Hey, good
right.
morning.
Morning. I'm gonna transfer
I
the
even put
host
on a
over
nice, even put on a coat for you, buddy.
to Thank you so much. I really appreciate your time, even taking this time to do even a sneak peek,
Yeah,
before all of this. So I really appreciate it because I know you guys don't have to do it. You guys can wait, as far as corporate goes. But I have so many excited agents here that subscribe to me, that watch me on YouTube, that are with me in other ventures, and even on the health side or the life side. And we're just really excited getting pumped up now because I love the fact that it includes funeral planning. And that's where I thrive at.
yeah. Your background is really strong there, and I think as you lean into Everest and everything it can do for you, it's such a differentiator. It can really help you solidify that sale. It can help you gain referrals. It's uh, it's a fantastic writer. I'm starting to refer to it as the best living benefit in the industry. Now, of course, people think living benefits are only critical and chronic, and you know, uh, uh, but really, if you think about it as a living benefit, I mean, it's one, everybody qualifies for it. Everybody can use it from day one. Beneficiaries can benefit from it. It really is kind of a fantastic living benefit, rider, but it's not even a rider. It's built into every policy. Bill, let's do two things. I want to make sure we're not going to post this video, right? This is a sneak peek.
Absolutely.
We can
Correct.
do another one.
Sure.
So, guys, let me share with you how I came across Bill. I know is Scott joined yet? So Scott Grody is your RVP, right?
Right.
He's the one that's going to support you guys the most. I'm national sales manager. I'm run the country and all the RVPs and all the sales for brokerage. But I was on how I got to Bill originally was I was just on YouTube, and I was just kind of I get on there once in a while just to make sure I'm up to date on what's happening in the final expense world. And I saw this video on FE Express, and I'm like, FE Express, that's not even launched yet. Now it was supposed to be launching earlier. So and I'm like, man, this guy's awesome. He's being pretty darn friendly to Transamerica. So that's when I reached out and talked to Grody, and you and I connected. So I think this is a great opportunity. Gives you guys a chance to get a sneak peek, to ask any questions. Hey, feel free to make this as interactive as possible. I do plenty of webinars where I just blah, blah, blah and talk at the screen. So if you guys have questions, just jump in. You want me to get into it? You want to
Yes.
wait a minute, or all right, 901.
They're still joining, so I mean that's fine. I'm still sending out links. I know it's 12 o'clock, but maybe a little bit of history and how this
Yeah,
developed, maybe like what happened before, because a lot of people right now were concerned with Transamerica. I mean, we were writing so much trans in I think what 2011, 12, 13, Joe. I mean, all the way up to like maybe 2017 before the underwriting started to change and everything, and we
right.
kind of like went downhill. So I wanted to know what direction now you guys went to,
That's a
the
great
last
question.
couple of years.
It's a
So I'll let
great question because you're going to love the answer. And I'll even, when I share my first slide, I'll talk about it. But actually, I'll even tell you like how long I've been here. So I'm like the OG here at Trans. I joined in 1999. So I was the Northern California wholesaler for variable annuities. Then I was divisional. Then I was national, all on the annuity side, on the wirehouse side. So calling on Merrill Lynch and Morgan Stanley and Wells Fargo, Smith Barney. So that was my background. About 10 years ago, I was tapped to kind of come over and lead and build something on the life insurance side. And I tell you what, guys, I love this side of the business. I mean, if I knew 25 years ago what that this side of the business, this kind of independent agent side existed, I'm not sure I might be more in your role than I am in mine. But this is a great business. So Transamerican, our commitment, boy, commitment's such an important thing right now. There's so many companies that you know of that you probably have written that have chosen to get out of the business. Well, our commitment has never been stronger. It starts with our. Why don't I get into the PowerPoint? Because these are these are talking points that you can I can share. So let me throw my glasses on here, and let me hit share on my screen. Let me figure out what's next. Give me 1 second to get this up. Where'd my Zoom go? Okay, I'm getting closer. All right, you guys should be seeing this. I know it's a double. Let me get to the PowerPoint. Let me get this in play mode. Cool. You guys seeing the screen?
Yes.
Okay. So, Bill, Joe, let's keep making this conversation. I love
Yes.
this. Um, and Scott Grody, have you joined yet?
Yes,
Right.
Steve, I'm here. Good morning,
Awesome.
everybody.
Good morning. Like I started when guys, I know we started a little early. Scott Grody is your RVP. He's the one that makes sure, Grody, do a couple things during this presentation. Make sure they have your contact information in the chat. Make sure they have your internals information. And then we'll post some other stuff too. But what we were talking about, guys, is our commitment to really final expense, but more importantly, the entire middle market, which is where you probably focus, right? There's 168 million families that's 168 million families in the middle market that are needing your help. And it's where we're focusing on. So today, you're going to hear about final expense and a new e-app, new product, but you're also going to hear this is our first app. So next, you're going to see sometime, let's call it next year, you're going to see a brand new simplified issue immediate decision term policy on the same e-app. And then let's call it a year and a half, you're going to see a brand new simplified issue instant decision IUL. So we are 100% committed to this space. Couple numbers. I like sharing this number, especially the bottom right number. That's not our size. That's not our assets. That's how much claims and benefits we paid out last year alone. I mean, that's death benefits, withdrawals, 47 billion. That's bigger than some of the insurance companies' total assets. So one thing that's nice about Transamerica is you don't really have to focus on who we are. Your clients know us. I mean, the Transamerica Pyramid is probably one or two of the most recognized buildings in the United States. And it's just a great brand, been around for 100 years, you know, the A and A plus ratings. So Transamerica. Let's start shifting to final expense. This is an important question. And it's one that I've kind of over time realized you have a lot of choices. How do you, the agent, how do you, Bill, the agency owner, drive final expense sales? How do you pick a carrier? Well, there's all kinds of different things that are important to you. So as we go through this, I want you to ask yourself two questions. The first question is, are you going to write more Transamerica? I think I know the answer to that. And the second question is, have we actually done enough to become your number one carrier, to be your go-to carrier, first of all? You know, today, I think because of our current app, because of the decisioning, because of maybe being somewhat difficult to do business with, we're not everybody's number one go-to carrier. A lot of people go, oh, hey, what about, oh, it's COPD. Have you tried trans, right? It's congestive heart failure. Oh, have you tried trans? Well, I think we're doing enough here. I think you're going to like what you see enough to try to write more and more trans. So we're going to do a couple things, Bill. We're going to start with the product just really quickly. You know, you can get product facts off any underwriting guide, and I'll show you where all those are. We're going to spend more time on the underwriting and then the e-app itself. But at the top, first thing, 100% instant decision, really fast decisioning. On the right-hand side, this is important. Face amounts go up to $50,000 to age 75. So you'll see the specs in a second. And on the left-hand side, Bill, you already said you love this. Man, Everest can do so much. You can, it really might be the best living benefit in the industry. And you know what we'll do, Bill? Remind me, let's get the Everest expert on the line. Not now. As we get closer, let's do an Everest training with Militia or Mark or Mitch. And we can really point you in the most valuable resources that are part of Everest. So a 10-minute process. I emphasize speed a little too much. I would say slow down also. When you get into the e-app, slow down a little bit. It is a short, easy. The feedback on the e-app is it's the best, shortest, easiest, fastest e-app in the final expense. People are loving the e-app. Now, I'll offset that with some other comments around, anti-fraud provisions and some of the way the EAP works. So I don't want to be too Pollyannish with you. I want to be really fair and tell you what you're going to love and what's going to cause a little friction. You're going to love the payment options. I mean, complete payment flexibility, whether you pay checking or savings, credit card, debit card, direct express, social security billing, ton of flexibility here. And everybody is pay on approval except for credit and debit cards. I'll give you some examples, but that's a really important change. Today, you don't get your commissions till the policy is drafted, not with FV Express. You're going to get paid in 48 hours, even if you future draft. I'll show you some examples. This upsell feature, I'm going to go into in a second. Commissions, we talked about. Everest, really important writer. Let's look at some of the facts. You know, the left-hand side is basically select or standard, right? There is no longer a preferred. It's one rate class for day one coverage for select, and 18 to 85. Now, 75, up to age 75 is 50,000. So really strong face amount up to age 75. On the FV Express, note the ages are a little different. It only goes to 80. And then the maximum is 25,000 all the way through. Important to note, as a carrier, we don't reduce commissions at older ages. So whether you're 45 or 85, you still got a really, really strong commission. By the way, commissions are tricky to talk about. There's all different rules out there. Let me say this. I think that you'll know that we have industry-leading commissions on this product. Now, not to guarantee this, but basically every rank went up by 15%. So if you were getting 70, you're now getting 85. If you are getting 100, you're getting 115 on FV Express. Probably, you know, asterisk there, but commissions really, really look strong. And same thing with graded. Whatever you were getting on graded, maybe it was 50 or 60 or 70, that's also going up by 15%. So really strong commissions. We talked about a couple other things that are different, right? There's no children's rider. There's no accidental death. It's really a simpler product plus Everest. Let's talk about underwriting. You know, the best product in the world doesn't mean a thing if you can't get clients covered and really get them covered with day one coverage, right? So you guys have already been very Transamerica friendly. You probably know our current product. The single condition chart looks very similar. It might be exact. So single condition chart, man, we have a lot of good underwriting conditions where we're going to give you select day one coverage, and other carriers are probably going to push you to graded or maybe even a decline. But in bold, you can see I highlighted a couple things. What's different in this compared to our current product is that this new product has smarter underwriting. So we're not just counting your medical conditions and saying, oh, you have 2 conditions, you're standard, you have 3, you're great, you're graded, or we're not counting medical conditions. We're asking, are these medical conditions comorbidities, meaning do they make each other worse? Because when it comes to your health, sometimes 1 + 1 = 3, right? Sometimes if you have 2 diseases, it's not just 2, it's a lot worse. But sometimes they're not. And I'm going to show you some really good examples of medical conditions that don't stack, where you can have multiple conditions and still get day one coverage. Back to single condition, CHF is select, ever. COPD doesn't matter, it's select. Diabetic coma, diabetes with neuropathy, heart attack, heart disease. There's a lot of good places where we're definitely going to have a niche. Don't get confused by up here where it says within 2 years under diabetes. That just basically means ever. Whether you've had it within 2 years, no matter what your blood sugar is, you're going to be able to get day one coverage. Now, remember, this is a single condition chart. As you add in multiple conditions, your underwriting decision is going to change. Let's look at some examples that don't stack. I'll be honest, guys, these are very specific medical conditions, non-related, unrelated medical conditions. But man, this is a crazy example. COPD, you're going to be day one. What about COPD with diabetes and neuropathy? All right, what if you add in multiple sclerosis? What if you then add in Parkinson's disease? So I got this, I worked with our lead underwriters to help put together. It's a pretty aggressive example, but guess what? you're still day one. You're still getting select. Now, I probably overemphasize this. I think some of the first trainings I did for our pilot, I made him think that we approve everybody, and we don't, right? There's certainly going to be declines. Let me go a little faster. Diabetes, lupus, emphysema, you're still getting day one coverage. CHF, Parkinson's, depression, Crohn's, you're still getting day one coverage. CHF and diabetes, now you're approved, but you can see you're approved graded. And eventually you get down here to kidney failure, CHF. Well, any type you have, mostly once you get to organ failure, and you have multiple, you're going to get a decline. Let me show you some other examples of how morbidities build off each other. So if you have liver failure by itself, it's graded. Well, if you have liver failure and diabetes, you're still graded. But now you add in a second related comorbidity, and it's pushed to a decline, right? You have your main condition, you have one comorbidity, now you have two comorbidities, you're a decline. CHF is select, CHF and COPD is graded, CHF and COPD and diabetes is a decline. So I added these in because I just wanted to set the stage and set we're targeting around 30%, 25% declines. And I don't want you to think, don't just write, if you were declined someplace else, and especially if you were declined at Transamerica on immediate solution, you're probably going to get declined again. So some of the pilot guys they just tried to rewrite everybody that was declined, and then they were upset that they were declined here. So the underwriting rules look really good, but let me tell you one other thing. The underwriting, the fast data that our underwriting gets is really comprehensive. And there are definitely times where you're going to be sitting face to face with a client or on the phone, and this guy's saying, I'm healthy, I'm this, I'm that. And guess what? They're going to come back declined or graded because there's something in their medical records that our fast data is pulling. It's one of the reasons the EAP itself is so short, because we're relying on the fast data a lot. Oxygen, I'd say we're pretty tough on. We're good. I mean, you could be on oxygen, be graded, and then as it builds, you can really see declines here. Let me show you oxygen. Tobacco, is already declined, right? That diabetes we're really good at. Select diabetes and complications with CHF graded, but you add an organ failure, it's a decline. So, in summary, I think our underwriters are some of the best in the industry, but our fast data is really, really comprehensive too. So don't think everybody's going to be approved day one. They're not. Let's talk about commissions and payment flexibility. I mentioned this already. Here's an example of someone, they want to pay with their checking and savings, but they want to pay on the 1st of the month. Let's say today's the 5th. Well, you got to wait 25 days to get your commission. Not anymore. You're going to get paid within 48 to 72 hours. So if you write this policy today, it'll hit your checkbook on Wednesday, even if, today's Tuesday, excuse me. If you write this policy on a Monday, and it will, even if you're future dating with Social Security, with checking, I'll keep showing you my examples here. Direct Express, 3rd Wednesday, it's still going to pay in 48 to 72 hours. This example now, I'm trying to emphasize credit and debit as earned. So we're not advancing, right? In this example, you're not going to get paid to the 15th of the month if they're using a credit or debit, but it does add flexibility for you. You can use credit or debit for initial and ongoing payments. And a lot of clients are doing that. I'm surprised how many are doing it already, especially because we're not advancing. It's just some clients are more comfortable there sharing that information. Let's, Bill, why don't you come off mute here for a minute?
Yes.
And before I keep going, let's just talk about any questions so far, any feedback, anything that I need to address before I move on to the EAP.
You guys go ahead. Any questions? I'm sure you guys have questions.
Hey, Bill, this is Cliff. I'm not sure if it went over about converting. Is there any converting allowed for someone that's on a term, or whether they are all on another type of FE plan? Can they convert over to the new one?
Well, you can add this. That's a great question. And It actually is a strength. Let's say you have immediate solution today, and because of your age, you were only able, or whatever reason, you bought 25,000. You can add this policy up to 50,000. So the rules stand alone. You could have maxed out immediate solution and now max out FE Express, but you can only have one FE. There are some rules, and I'll try to touch on some, especially if we do another training or another call to kind of go deeper into some of the uniqueness, but you can only have one policy. So if you add 20 grand today and you want 20 grand more later, you can't do it. You can do an internal replacement, but it's full underwriting. And then depending on how long ago your past product was sold. Now, some states, I went pretty fast there, guys. Two things. It's not maybe we should go back to that one slide, but it's not approved in California right now or New York. And then there are some states that don't allow replacements. Well, I'll go back so I can keep going here. Hopefully that answered a part of your question, but yeah, you can add this product.
I have a question,
Yeah.
Steve. So once you're approved, right, that process, you can select how much coverage you want, I guess at that time.
You're
So,
going to see that right
and then you're
now.
not finished the application. So that means you already know what you're approved, and then you can tell the
It's
client.
one of the coolest features. And,
Okay.
and actually people are using, I'll show it to you in just 1 second. So where you find this product is on Agent Home. So you might be used to going to Agent Net Info, and then you go into IGO EAP. This is not on IGO. It's going to be a standalone. I have a bunch of things in here, so you won't see as many, but you're going to see this Transamerica FE Express. That's going to take you to the EAP. Now, I'll kind of zoom in on the important ones here. I know this is hard to see, but this is your dashboard. Now, up here at the top, notice it says new application, pre-qual, or get quote. So we're going to go through this because a couple of these things, this pre-qual tool is pretty cool. It's a way to practice the underwriting, or maybe even pre-qual a client, as you go through their medical conditions. I don't think you'll use it every time, but it's a great way to understand our underwriting rules. Of course, get quote is pretty straightforward, and then the EAP. So let's look at this pre-qual. Really, you're putting in your height and weight, your medical conditions, you're answering a few questions, and then you're getting a decision. So not a decision, you're getting it's not guaranteed. There was no signatures. We didn't pull any fast data. So this is just an indication that we think your client's going to be approved, but it's a great way to practice and understand the underwriting. The quote is pretty straightforward. If you want to run a quote, just like you do everywhere, let's go look at the EAP though. So if you click on new application or you go right from here, the first thing you're going to see is, how are you interacting with your client? Are you in person, face-to-face at the kitchen table, or are you on the phone or over a computer? This demo, we're going to start with in person. So this is where I'll go fast, but then I'll slow down with what's important. So the first thing you do is pick your state that you're in. Now, this is an important thing to note. When this goes live, by the way, I haven't mentioned that yet. This is supposed to be going live September 16th. So when this goes live, one of the first things you want to do is get in here and look for your states, because it's only going to show the states that we think you're licensed in. And we're not 100% accurate at this point. We're pulling fast data to check your states, but if you have a new state, not every state seems to be showing. So make sure your state is here. You're going to pick your agent number. It's going to be pre-populated. You're going to say, yes, we're doing business electronically. In this example, no, you're not doing a replacement. And then really, you're doing your personal information, same as everybody else: name, address, social, birthday, etc. Then right away, we're going to take you to, well, let me talk about this next screen. So one of the things that's really cool about this app that also causes a little friction at times is that we're making an instant decision 100% of the time, and we're actually emailing. If you draft right away, the client pays right away. We're emailing this policy within minutes, coverage bound and covered, and the policy is delivered. Because of that, we're also pulling a lot of fast data, and we're trying to validate the client. There's a lot of anti-fraud in the background. So sometimes when agents are going through this personal information and they mistype the birth date, or they mistype the social security, you might get a warning, a message that looks like this. hey, possible error, make sure you verify your client's identity. Because if you can't, if we're not able to validate right here, then you can't move forward in the application. So definitely, even though it's short and sweet, definitely slow down. All right, so now part 2 or section 2 of the app is your health information. These first questions are all knockouts. Doesn't say that, but they're your standard knockouts with every final expense company. There are some more questions I'm not going through. Then you get to your lifestyle questions. By the way, you're only a smoker if you've smoked within the last 12 months. However, sometimes the fast data is that your doctor's notes are saying you're still a smoker. So we have had times where that you're applying non-smoker and the decision is coming back as a smoker, and it's all because of the fast data. So then you have, DUI and driving records and drug abuse. But this is where it gets really cool, especially face to face. Now you're signing. So notice you haven't put in your banking. Notice you haven't done your beneficiaries. I mean, why put all that stuff in, at the beginning of the app just to get to client? So we're going to move the signature to the front. If you're face to face, you're going to get prompted. You're going to turn the computer around or your iPad and just say, hey, does this look good? And then all the client's doing is clicking right down there in the bottom. They're going to click. They don't have to use their cursor. They don't have to use their finger. They can just click and it's going to apply a signature, a computerized generated signature. Now up above, those are all the applications, the HIPAA forms, replacement forms, disclosure, everything has already been filled out. They can review those if they want to, but you don't have to really scroll to the bottom and sign. Then the agent signs, a couple questions around your commission splits or how long have you known it, then you sign. And same thing, the agent just clicks and you have signed. So really, really simple face-to-face process. And what you were talking about, Bill, this is pretty strong. This is really, really good. We're getting tremendous feedback, brand new for us. And I don't know if I've seen it like this with any other carriers. So let's zoom on this one. First of all, you're getting it. Congratulations, you're approved. But notice that second line. You can adjust and finalize coverage. So what's cool about this is whatever you apply for, we're approving you for the max. So in this example, they quoted 25 grand. They applied for 25 grand. They're actually approved for 50. And on this next screen, you can do a couple different things. You can solve. Let's go to the next screen here. You can solve for premium, right? And say, hey, let's solve for face amount. Or so you can say, I can spend 175 a month, or what does $40,000 cost? So right here, we changed it to 40 grand and now the premium went up, but really good feature. A lot of people are saying, wow, I can't believe you've been approved. This is great news. You've already been approved for up to 50. But also what surprised me here is how many people are lowering the face amount and lowering the cost, because as you know, one of the number one things with final expense is affordability, right? You don't want to charge back. You don't want debt. You want to make sure this policy stays on the books. And so affordability is so important. And sometimes this decision is coming back, graded or maybe smoker. Well, that's going to be more expensive. So customize this. And I would say for every 2 people that increase the face amount, there's probably one lowering it to making sure they're finding a premium that's really affordable and that the client's comfortable with. So what do you think, Bill? Do you like that feature?
That is game changer. It's just like the best feature ever that we could do on our tablets is to go through all of that first and show them, congratulations, you've been approved for this, and let's find out what fits your budget. Okay. And then go through everything there. In addition, I like doing their Everest on top of it. I know that's a different thing, but I love where I can do all of this and help them with their funeral planning as well, to lock it in, to secure this in as their best policy they ever had, for final expense.
We'll do a whole nother training here as we get closer with the experts from Everest to make sure you guys know all the tools, all the resources. So listen, you finalize.
Steve,
yeah.
There's been a number of questions in the chat. Do you want to maybe get stacked up, maybe address some of those real quick, and then
let me come back to I couldn't see the chat. I was only in presentation mode. And let me, this is in the wrong way. Let me move that. Let me look at chat. Come up to the top. There, I love it. Good info, Scott. So, the first question, what's the difference? There are a number of differences, right? Immediate Solution has preferred and standard. Select, the new one, only has select, which is basically standard. The ages are different, right? Immediate Solution goes down to age 0. Immediate Solution has accidental death. Immediate Solution has the grandchildren's rider. So there are times when you may want to write Immediate Solution, and you certainly can. We're not getting rid of it. So you're going to have both. Immediate Solution, preferred. If your client's super healthy, they're the best rates in the industry are on Immediate Solution preferred. When will it be available in New York? Man, what a tough question. Who knows if ever, right? That's a hard one. There are some, so wheelchair is an interesting one. You can be, let me come back to that. That's in the guide. It's in the, I'll show you, by the way, I'm going to show you where all these questions are. Wheelchair, remind me, Grody, to talk about wheelchair when I share when I share it. Controlled business is paid as earned. Good catch there, right? That's if you're writing on yourself or your spouse, basically. The pre-qual selection, the pre-qualified is, like I said, it's not guaranteed, but you can practice that pre-qual. All right, I'll keep coming. Let's keep going back here. I'll show you a couple more things in the PowerPoint. We're almost done here, right? But now you do have to sign one more time because you're finalizing coverage, right? Remember, you signed once and the client signed once in order to get their offer, a binding offer that they can upsell. And then they enter their banking, which you're about to see. They enter their beneficiaries. So now you're doing your beneficiaries. Now you do your banking. Let me zoom in on this because, right, pretty flexible here. You can schedule your payment. You can use Social Security billing. So the first one is you're picking your flexibility, your payment schedule, and then you're picking how. So now you're entering, do I want to use a checking? Do I want to use, here's the routing number, here's the account number. Do I want to use a credit card? There's no more tokenization, whatever, how ridiculous that thing was. You don't, you can just use a debit or a credit, and really simple. And then now that you've finalized everything, once again, the client, the agent just clicks to sign, and then the client does the same thing, just clicks to sign. And now you're approved, you're bound, the policy is being delivered in real time. So I know you're not experts yet, but I want to show you some great resources where you can study this product, you can practice this product, you can take a look at it. Let me see what I have up here. Let me go to a new page. So you should still be seeing this. I want you guys, hey, in a minute, Grody, well, I could do it too. If you can, Grody, I don't know if you can copy this. Well, I'll just do it.
I looked up the wheelchair, Steve, in the agent guide.
Yeah.
Within 12 months, graded. After 12 months, select. There is an exception.
The 3-month thing's a little confusing. It basically, hey, if you're in an accident and you're still in a wheelchair after 3 months, that doesn't count. It's basically, if you have a chronic condition and you're in a wheelchair, then those rules apply. Let me show you where you can get all this information right now. So definitely write this down, the FE Express toolkit. Every single thing you need from your client guides, your agent guides, and a really comprehensive training module is right here. So if you come down, you've got your agent guide. By the way, there's no passwords, there's no login. Here's your agent guide, has all the rules, where he went and saw a wheelchair. Here's what your client guide looks like. I like the client guide. I really like how it talks about Everest down here. And it kind of shows some quotes about Everest directly from clients. And then the timeline, what to expect. But here's something else that's really good. This learn more feature, learn more. It's actually the same thing as these training resource, takes you to the same spot. So this will take you to our training module, where really comprehensive training for you. It's in kind of a course format. You don't have to go through the whole course. You can kind of go on the left-hand side. Let me show you a couple things. If you want to watch videos, right? Here's a full video on the virtual process. Here's a full video on the in-person process. If you want to kind of use a sandbox version of the e-app and walk through the e-app yourself, this is a little tricky. You have to know where to click. Basically, you want to click in the blue. I'll show you this. If you click in the wrong spot, see how it's flashing blue? So you have to click in the blue. So if you want to start a new app, you can do it. This one is canned for a virtual presentation, right? You guys can do this in this tool. Under resources, where do resources go? Under resources, you have all your other, you have your agent guide that I already showed you. You have the product spec sheet, a comparison between immediate solutions and FE Express, like was asked in the chat. Client guide. Definitely read these FAQs, and definitely, let's see. Oh, here's all your Everest information. Let me come back to two things. There are some unique things in this product that a lot of agents don't love, right? Because let me show them to you. So in this document, really comprehensive, one of the first ones is up here. All right, question 17. This is a little different, and I'm going to try to highlight this. Basically, look, just read the answer. The owner has to be the insured at the time of application. Actually, question number 2. The owner and the payer and the insured have to be the same person. Now, it is causing a little friction. We are working on making an enhancement because we all know a lot of times, maybe the insured's the spouse, the wife, and the owner's the husband, and it's being paid from the husband's account. Sometimes you have a child who's, a grown adult who's making payments. You can change it. So just like it says, once the policy is in force, you can call and change the payment details. It's kind of a pain. And it's something we're working on, but just know to really read these Q&As. The other one I wanted to share was on the banking. Let's see, where was that? There's one, billing and payments. This is kind of, there's a couple things here. These billing and payment rules. Make sure that the bank account zip code matches the mailing address of the application. Make sure the owner, insured, and payer are the same person. It doesn't allow third-party payers. So there's a reason for these rules. And let me come back to my screen and find you guys. Where would I find you? It's always tricky in Teams finding. Maybe you're up here. There you go. There we go. Let me stop sharing. I'll come back to some of this stuff. So do you guys remember, well, Bill, you remember, you referenced it. Hey, it was tough to do business with Trans for a while, right? We were really hard. I mean, what was our nickname? I mean, I laughed at this, but it was pretty accurate. Our nickname we weren't called Transamerica. We were called Trans Amendment, because how many times did you write a policy to find out, oh, we've got this outstanding requirement. Oh, we need the signature. Oh, we're going to have to amend this. The beauty of this e-app, it does cause some friction, is that everything is perfect in the e-app once it gets issued. So of 1,000 policies we've already issued, we've had 0 outstanding requirements. 0. There are no requirements. Every form is pre-populated. By the way, Pennsylvania's not approved yet. I'm not sure that's in the literature. So make note, Pennsylvania's not approved. Everybody knows Pennsylvania has this weird form that needs to be filled out.
PA disclosure form.
Yeah, the PA disclosure. So
we're in the works of that though, right, Steve?
We are, but it's not done yet. Yeah, definitely. There's a few things in here, like, some clients aren't passing their identification validation. So we're working on making sure that all the rules are accurate. Same thing with the bank account. Be super accurate when you're typing in addresses and bank accounts, and because that is turning into we can't validate this client's bank account sometimes. So it's not perfect yet. I mean, we're still in pilot. It goes live September 16th. But I tell you, If there's 20 things that are important to you, you're going to love 19 of them, which is pretty darn good for a carrier. Bill, what other questions do we have? Grody, will you kind of put in, do you have that? I guess chat's up there. Did you copy the FE Express address? Let me put this in here in chat.
I did. I got that added.
All right. Well, now they got it twice. All right. So that's a great place to stop. Where? Oh, no, it's not an app as in a, an Apple store, just an electronic application. All right. Let me show you some other resources. Well, actually, you've got everything you need, right? Everything right there. And then finally, remember, we do a really nice trip every year, a qualification trip. As an agent, it's $100,000 in premium. We've been going to Napa, Hawaii, Cabo, Cancun, the Low Country. This year's qualification trip is for next year, for next March, I believe. Well, next year is up in the mountains. That's at the Montage in Deer Valley. Hey, let's do this again. Let's we can go a little close. Let's get Everest on to really focus on them, and as we get closer, we'll keep you guys updated. What other questions and comments do you have?
I have a question. So how's the premiums compared to Media Solutions?
Yeah. All right. So for a male select, premiums actually got cheaper. So not only are you getting Everest, not only are commissions going up by 15%, but once you get to age 62 and you're, a male age 62 standard, the older you get, the cheaper it gets compared to today's standard on immediate solution. Now, that's where we win with rates getting cheaper. I'd say our graded, let me just be honest, this is a small group. This ain't being recorded. Our rates are kind of friggin' ridiculous. They're really expensive for graded. So they've always been expensive, right? On immediate solution, they're still expensive. They may, depending upon what age, they may have even gone up. So some got cheaper. Looks like older ages got more expensive. The thing I'd emphasize there is make sure you're selling Everest. If they don't love Everest, an agent's going to come behind you and replace that business. It's going to turn into debt or chargeback or who knows what. So if you're selling a more expensive policy, don't make it just about the rates. Make sure they love Everest. Make sure you're helping them with one of the, some of the 3 most important estate planning documents that every single client needs, no matter their wealth. It doesn't matter how wealthy you are. You need a last will and testament. You need a financial durable power of attorney. You need a medical health care directive. And you as an agent, with Everest can help create those things with that client. You do those things with your client, they're never going to replace this policy. But if you're just selling this policy and they're looking at rates and someone else comes behind them, because listen, your commission is going up 15% for graded also. You want to sell that graded, but you want to keep it on the books. Same thing with smoker. I'd say our smoker rates are more expensive than I thought they would. I've had some agents push back a little bit, but they're not, the agents that push back don't really like Everest. They're not really believers. In general, here's what's going to happen with you guys. You're going to write, if you're writing healthy clients, pretty healthy clients, you're going to think this is the greatest app and experience and commission and being paid quickly. All of that is working amazingly. If you're saving a bunch of declines and you think you're going to rewrite them, and it's going to get frustrating. And then sometimes you're going to have a client that you swear is entering all the right data there, and they get ineligible. They get, hey, we're not able to proceed because we can't validate this client's identity. Then you're going to need to call. As a matter of fact, Grody, I'm going to read this off my phone. I want you to type this into the chat. So you have a dedicated new team, a new customer service team for FE Express. And that it's in the documents. So it's in that Q&A, right? The Q&A in the resources I showed you. But the number you want to write down is, and Grody, type this in here, 800-453-1448. That's 1-800-453-1448. that is the new dedicated customer service team just for FV Express.
So if you're having trouble with the application, Steve, right? That's who
Yeah,
you call.
Yeah, pre-sale, you're going to call Grody and his internals, like questions on the product, maybe. Hey, I got to. But once you get into the app, questions about underwriting, billing, banking, the e-app, once you start it and you're in, then you're going to call that number that we just gave you.
Another
I
question.
have a question.
Do you think contracting is going to be backed up? Because I'm getting a lot of text messages. People are so excited.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
they're like, man,
contracting is already backed up. That's Bill, contract, it's already backed up by 5 days. So if you're not contracted with Transamerica, start today. So if you're already licensed, you're good. You don't need a new ID. You don't need a new agent. You don't need to do anything if you're already licensed. Like I started, check your states, but you're good to go. If you're not contracted, two things have happened. A lot of carriers have gotten out of the business, and a lot of carriers, a lot of agencies know what's coming. So there's going to be some pain. I know it. I mean, we have so many people excited to write this product because of the e-app, because of the commissions, because of Everest, because of the advanced, pay on approval. So I would start that licensing process now.
Steve, launch date?
September 16th. And listen, they've changed that date on me so many times, killing me. But this time they really say September 16th.
I'm just hoping you have Pennsylvania available, at that launch date for us. No, this right here is the most exciting product because I actually want to help my clients service them with Everest. So if I enroll them, I guess they get an enrollment code or something like that for us to help assist them to log into Everest. How does that work?
All right, I'm going to give you something. How can I do this? All right, let me not share. I think, am I still sharing? Yeah, let me stop sharing. All right, I got to find an email. Hold on a minute. No, let me do it. Maybe I can do it this way.
Will Everest only be offered this product? Will it ever be offered to any of your other Transamerica products?
Oh, great question. It is already on our FFIUL. So FFIUL is our Index Universal Life. It is sold mostly by WFG, right? They sell the heck out of it. It is the #1 sold individual IUL in the industry for the last 14 quarters in a row. So, I mean, an entire industry. So it is, we do IUL really well. Now it's
the
on.
One thing, sorry, Steve, the one thing that
go ahead.
on the FFIUL to have that Everest rider, the minimum face amount is $250,000.
I was gonna get there. I was selling them first, but no.
No, well, I was about to say because Scott knows I just sold one of those policies, so I was wondering was it applied to my clients? Okay, good to know.
Yeah, 250 or more. Mm-hmm.
All right, let me show you something. Hopefully this doesn't get me in trouble, but this is a great way. All right, check this out. And let me share my screen again. Let me share. Let me come up here to Everest. Okay, so Everest, I'll copy that so I can, you don't have to type it that way. It's just, so Everest Funeral / Transamerica. I'll put that in the chat. So what?
Oh, sorry. No, sorry.
Did we lose Steve? Let's see. I think so. I think so. Oh, Bill, I think you might be muted.
I said he was getting to the good stuff.
He was getting to the good stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, bear with us, guys, for 1 second. I mean, he's still on here. Yeah, as the host.
There we go.
There
Okay,
he is. He's back.
All right.
Yeah. I think I meant to hit share and I hit leave or something. I don't know. I'm sure it's my mistake. So let me show you something really cool. Let me come back to share screen. Disable. Oh, host disabled attendee. I must be an attendee now. Do you want to, Bill, you want to make me a host again somehow?
1 second. I'm doing it now.
Okay. It says Williams, it says Bill is the host.
There you go.
Okay, here we go. Share screen. Share. All right, let's come here. Okay, you guys are seeing this?
Yes.
All right, let me. So I want to give you something pretty cool here. So it's everestfuneral.com, Transamerica. Now, what I'm going to give you right now is an enrollment code. So you're going to be first-time user. You're going to put in TA guest. And now you have access to all of the online planning tools. So you're going to want to register with your email. You want to put in TA guest, and I believe it makes you change your password later on. But this way you can look at all these different resources. You can come in here and, you know, walk through the last will and testament. You can, you know, creating one, right? You can go in and practice, watch the videos, but you can actually have a website, an account, just like your client does. And so let's see if this works for me. I better not. But okay, so everybody wrote that down. I said it was just TA guest.
Yes, I wrote it down. Yep.
Okay, cool. And so create your account, come in here, practice, you know, practice the video, what to learn, watch the different videos, watch the training resources. But especially if you're going to do the last will and testament, if you're going to do their wishes, you know, but we'll do a training again. Let's do this again so you guys can get really good at Everest.
Was the TA guess all caps, lowercase, uppercase?
I don't think it's all caps, all uppercase. TA
one
guess.
word.
Yeah. So I'll put it back here again. It's not showing it this time. That's weird. Didn't it let me show it the first time? Oh, existing first time TA GUEST. So put your email in and put TA guest and you'll be registered.
That's just game changing, because when you're doing something like that, you know, there are directives, and they're charging, lawyers are charging hundreds of dollars for that, sometimes thousands, guys, and we know that. And you're doing it as a service, and they're getting approved on the spot. They're excited. I can't wait to walk around and write policies and show how many I did in a day, from, you know, from either a Medicare book of business or what I do, because I want to show you guys the ease of it. I mean, I can see me holding my phone and, you know, doing some, you know, great stuff for our clients as far as Everest goes, you know, and choosing a funeral home for them, looking at the price finder, going through it for them, showing them how much their traditional funeral will cost along with the cemetery, and putting it together so I'm accurate if they can afford it. Because then we're talking about something that this is all the final expense that they need. It's no other shopping that they need to do. Our placement and persistency should stay there, should be well above over 80%, guys, unless you guys just did, you know, wrote a high policy that they couldn't afford. But this is game changer, especially in the funeral industry. It's because we love putting plans together for our clients. putting prices together and putting their directives together. I just thought when I first heard about it, with Scott, I said, this is game changing. I mean, this is what they want. They want a product to work and fit with their life insurance. It's the best rider, it's the best thing I've ever seen doing this in my 20 years of doing this. I've never seen anything like this. And that's why I knew contracting was going to get backed up. I wanted you guys to see this and get a quick sneak peek and work with you because we're all in. And I know a lot of agents are, we want to get back on that train when we were with Transamerica years ago as the best company out there, and also when you're doing the directives and you're naming the executive of the estate, this is where you get into blue and white collar children. And now you can talk to them like, hey, I put your mother's funeral plan together. I did our will. You need to get it notarized. I emailed it to you or whatever. Let's talk about your retirement plan. That opens up the door for other, insurances with Transamerica as well. And that's when we can get into the FFIUL, with that child. And if the death benefit's over 250, like Scott said, you're right. Now we just got an IUL. We attach the Everest and do the same thing for them and their family. So it's kind of, it's a whole wraparound. If you're trained right, you can do this right, and I believe in alternative marketing strategies. A lot of people are lead junkies, but not me. I mean, you can do one household and sign up mom for this. And if she's just single herself and get her kids in, because you're naming the executive of the estate for a home, you're putting someone down there as a will, and you should be reaching out to that mother's child. That was so powerful about Everest, that I can call up that child for that mother and say, hey, I was your mother's funeral planner and a life insurance agent. And this is absolutely all the steps that we did together in that household. That's mind blowing.
Yeah. Listen, I don't have much to say to add to that because you're 100% right, Bill. I will. I like this analogy I used. Like if you're talking to a client, if buying life insurance it's it's an act of love, and it's because you don't want to be a financial burden, and you want to make sure that the funeral goes well and it's handled with distinction and love, and that there's a lot of decisions that have to be made in the first 24 to 48 hours of a passing. And instead of making those decisions by yourself when you're maybe in shock, when your loved ones are grieving, for your loss, what about having an advocate that works on your behalf, a licensed funeral home planning director that works for you and can help you with these details? Sure, you can plan them in advance, but the number one resource that Everest actually implements is that licensed planning funeral director to work with you, to answer questions, to contact the nursing home. I forgot two things. Here's what might be one of the most important things. Handling death claims can be a real process, and it can keep you hey, middle webinar. Can I call you back in 5? See, right. Is Everest will negotiate, will handle the claims paying, the death benefit. So they'll pay that death benefit in 72 hours. And they don't even need a death certificate from the county. They can take instructions from the funeral home and now process that death claim and make sure your beneficiary is getting up to $25,000 within the first 72 hours. So
that's amazing, because what happens is usually if somebody's coming in a funeral for at-need service, about 80 different questions and it's fights all over the place, and I deal with it. Okay, so if you can avoid that and you could call Everest and they can transition the body to the funeral home, which they will do because they'll send the funeral home over to sign off, for the next of kin to get that body at that morgue, guys. I mean, I teach this all day, okay? The death process, okay? The claim process, the death certificate, what's on the death certificate, how does that work with the funeral homes? Because I work with a lot of funeral directors all day. And the problem that they have is that the time of service or at needed service is that claim process with doing the whole process. It takes almost a week or two, okay, to get that money. So they want some money up front to transfer the remaining the body. That's about $1,500. And a lot of times there's fights and everything that break. So we can avoid all of this if we set it right now with Everest. We can go in there and actually plan it. That's what I love about it, because now I say, okay, this is the funeral home. This is what's happening. This is the type of service we want. So it's already planned. So if they call Everest, they can look right in the planner and they can see everything.
Boom. Fantastic. Bill, I have a hard stop. Brody's going to stay on to answer any questions. I've got this big leadership call. That's another reason I'm wearing a coat. Bill,
Right.
It's not just for you.
I'll set you up for it, but thank you. We really appreciate your time, Steve. Really do.
All right, guys.
Thank you so much.
Right. Stay on. Make sure you bring back your host privileges, and
Thanks,
I'll
Steve.
talk to you guys soon. See you.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Steve. Scott, I got you down.
Awesome.
I don't know if you want to say anything. You're the host now.
Cool. Yeah, no, I just want to say, yeah, thank you for everybody's time today. Really exciting stuff, obviously. I think it's a game-changing product. I think you guys will really enjoy it. I'd love to hear the feedback, once you guys get access to it, of course. Like Bill said, I think this Everest Rider is going to be super powerful and keeping policies on the books. So somebody's not coming in and selling behind you. I think it's going to be really important to know the ins and outs of Everest, which is why I think we should definitely set up another call here with our Everest folks that can really dive into that, get you guys familiar with it so that, when you're out there selling, you'll be able to explain it and walk the client through what Everest is, what the benefits are. Because like I said, I think that really is going to be a huge added benefit to the final expense space that just isn't out there yet. I do want to just point out too, I did put my info as well as my two internal partners, Chris and Jason's info in the chat. You'll have to scroll all the way up to the top again to get it. But please, please, please make sure you take a picture of it, write it down, whatever you need to do so that when you guys do need help, reach out to myself, reach out to my two internals. I do a number of these webinars. I travel. Sometimes it's a little easier to reach out to Jason or Chris because they are behind their desk working Monday through Friday. So sometimes if you need a quick answer, you can just send it to all of us. The first person available is going to give you an answer. We're all equipped to help you out, but just want to make sure you guys have, like I said, our info above there.
Yeah, and I'm gonna get their info to you guys too, because Scott's team will help with case design, with illustration, training, back office support, whatever you guys need. I mean, I'm doing training videos too that I make them unlisted, just to walk through steps. And I'm going to do one too also for Transamerica FE Express of selling it as well. What I would do on the funeral side, because now that I have that Everest tool and I have access to it, I'm writing a ton of them. All day, because I know a lot of clients, they have to spend $1,500 just for a service like that with a lawyer. Okay. So that's stellar. The only thing I want, Scott, right now, if it's on my Christmas list, is Pennsylvania. Okay.
I know. I heard that just the other day and I was like, oh no, it's a dagger to the heart. But yeah, like I said, they are, I think Steve he doesn't want to overpromise. I don't either. Right. It is top of the list to get that added. We found out the hard way when somebody in the pilot program tried to submit a PA case, and we found out that PA disclosure form, they're having trouble getting it into the new app. It is on the day 2 project. So as soon as the product gets launched, my understanding is that that's going to be on the top list to get added kind of in phase 2. Gotcha. I don't have a date yet, but it is a top priority.
All right. Well, awesome. I really appreciate it. I know everybody is pumped up and excited. I just want to say the next steps, guys, is to get contracted. If you're new on here, and you're not with Transamerica, this is the time to get it. You can reach me too. You can contact me. I know I'll email all you guys the contract link too. You could call me to go over levels. Okay. I'll give you my email as well. So you guys have that, just my Gmail. So you guys can just send to me personally. We have a ton of training. If you guys want to know why to kind of get another writing number with me over here, is because we do a lot of, I call alternative marketing strategies. We have different lead systems, and we also teach the funeral planning side, guys. You will never learn that, okay, unless you're doing pre-need. So we teach that industry in and out from A to Z. So you guys can work with other funeral homes and directors as well, because once I go to them with this and I talk to different funeral directors, if they have a license, they're going to want to add this. They're going to want to work with Everest. They're going to do a lot of things because you can make that work. Okay. You can get them in the network and everything. So guys, it's going to be a lot of different things that you will not learn from any other agencies that you will learn here, especially on the funeral side, because some people just write and burn. No, we're not. We want to write with placement, stay on the books. want to show you guys how to write wills, living wills, and power of attorney, especially someone coming from me who does this on an everyday basis. So you guys can learn that. So your persistency, it sticks. I mean, it's stuck on the books. No one's going behind you. They don't want to lose their Everest benefits, especially if you help them do it all. And you're working with those beneficiaries. Remember, guys, they're doing directives for beneficiaries' purposes. Okay, you get with those beneficiaries so you can help them with other services. I don't care if it's term or if it's a grandchild or if it's just an IUL and doing a case. So that you don't want to just leave it there. This is not a product where it's 40 minutes in a house and you leave. That's not this product. This is the product that you're going to get paid. You're going to help them out with their advanced directives. You're going to work with their beneficiary, and you're going to set up another meeting with them to get them another Transamerica product. That's this type of product. That's what's in your hands right now, guys, okay? I've been doing this a long time, even with trans, okay? I've never seen anything like this, and I'm big in the funeral planning world. So you guys will get the best training on the Everest side when we do that training, and also on the life insurance side, okay? So you can put it together as one unit. All right, so I just want to say that, Scott, because I'm so pumped up and so excited.
I love it.
We have so many people on here inside our organization right now that's going to do this all over the country. That's on here now. So I thank you guys for staying on here, and I know we're going to have many more Zooms coming up, guys. So stay tuned. People are asking, is this recorded? It's not going to be public. Okay, I will have a recording link, but it's not public. So if you need to like rewatch it and you're within our group, I will send it to you. It's still a private link. It can't go public. It's just a link to you. So I'll get that out. And guys, be on the lookout. Another Zoom. You never know. Me come out before this, maybe with Everest. Me and Scott will figure it out. We talk all the time. And any last words, Scott?
No, I think I'm good. I just want to say thank you again for everything, Bill and team. If you guys need anything, you have my contact info, like I said, as well as my two internals. Contracting, if you're not contracted with us just yet, please make sure you get on that right away, because as mentioned earlier, we are a little behind in contracting. So just be prepared for that. It will take about 5 days to get a new contract. Once we get you set up, like I said, I think this product is set to launch now September 16th, as long as no more hiccups are come up, right? But we're excited about it.
Do you think it's because more people are finding out about it and that's why they're getting contracted right now? You think that's why?
Absolutely.
Like,
yeah. Okay. Yeah. I think a lot, some of those other carriers that pulled out, there was people that agents that were just writing those carriers who weren't appointed with us before, now need a new final expense home. And yeah, I think for that reason, we have a pretty big backup in contracting.
So the agency heads on here, you better get your agents in for some other email or text message gets to them and they start pumping this product. So get your agents on board, guys. Get to them. It's going to be massive advertising that's going to come out once the product is like officially out. And so yeah, you better get to them now. So just
get on it now. Get on it now. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right.
Awesome. Well, I think I'm good, Bill.
Well, thank you guys so much, you guys. And I'll be talking to you guys. Send me email, text. You got Scott's information, anything. Let's get you contracted, get you on board. Let's get you prepped up. I mean, you can write some IULs and term and immediate solutions right now. So don't stop and wait for this product. Get in now so you can start helping them now. So God bless everyone. Thanks, Scott. I know I'll be talking to you guys, and I'll see you at the next Bill Feggins Academy, webinar.
Awesome. Look forward to it. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.